Preparing for the NISM Series VA, Mutual Fund Distributors Certification Examination requires a thorough understanding of mutual funds and their distribution mechanisms. Below is a curated list of 200 frequently asked questions, FAQs with concise answers, categorized by key chapters to aid your preparation. Additionally, essential preparation tips are provided to ensure you are well-equipped before entering the examination hall. Chapter 1: Investment Landscape. 1. What is an investment? An investment is the allocation of resources, usually money, with the expectation of generating income or profit. 2. Define financial assets and real assets. Financial assets are intangible assets like stocks and bonds, while real assets are physical assets like real estate and commodities. 3. What are the primary objectives of investing? The main objectives are capital appreciation, income generation, and capital preservation. 4. Explain the concept of risk and return. Risk refers to the potential of losing investment value, while return is the gain or loss on an investment over time. 5. What is diversification in investment? Diversification involves spreading investments across various assets to reduce exposure to any single asset's risk. 6. Describe the various asset classes. Major asset classes include equities, stocks, fixed income, bonds, real estate, commodities, and cash equivalents. 7. What are the differences between equity and debt instruments? Equity instruments represent ownership in a company, while debt instruments are loans made to entities that pay fixed interest. 8. Explain the concept of liquidity in investments. Liquidity refers to how quickly an asset can be converted into cash without significantly affecting its price. 9. What are the factors affecting investment decisions? Factors include risk tolerance, investment horizon, financial goals, and market conditions. 10. Define inflation and its impact on investments. Inflation is the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services rises, eroding purchasing power and affecting investment returns. Chapter 2: Concept and Role of Mutual Funds. 11. What is a mutual fund? A mutual fund pools money from multiple investors to invest in diversified securities like stocks and bonds. 12. Describe the structure of a mutual fund. A mutual fund typically consists of a sponsor, trustee, asset management company (AMC), and custodian. 13. What are the advantages of investing in mutual funds? Advantages include diversification, professional management, liquidity, and affordability. 14. Explain the concept of a fund manager. A fund manager is a professional responsible for making investment decisions for the fund's portfolio. 15. What is the role of an asset management company (AMC)? An AMC manages the mutual fund's assets and operations, making investment decisions on behalf of investors. 16. Define net asset value (NAV). NAV is the per-unit value of a mutual fund, calculated by dividing the total net assets by the number of outstanding units. 17. What are open-ended and close-ended mutual funds? Open-ended funds allow continuous buying and redemption of units, while close-ended funds have a fixed number of units traded on exchanges. 18. Explain the concept of a fund of funds. A fund of funds invests in other mutual fund schemes rather than directly in securities. 19. What is an exchange-traded fund (ETF)? An ETF is a mutual fund traded on stock exchanges, combining features of both mutual funds and stocks. 20. Describe the concept of a systematic investment plan (SIP). An SIP allows investors to invest a fixed amount regularly in a mutual fund scheme, promoting disciplined investing. Chapter 3: Legal structure of mutual funds in India. 21. What is the role of the Securities and Exchange Board of India (SEBI) in mutual funds? SEBI regulates mutual funds to protect investors' interests and ensure market integrity. 22. Explain the concept of a trust in mutual funds. Mutual funds are established as trusts under the Indian Trusts Act, with trustees holding assets for investors' benefit. 23. What is the role of a trustee in a mutual fund? Trustees oversee the mutual fund's operations, ensuring compliance with regulations and protecting investors' interests. 24. Define the term sponsor in the context of mutual funds. A sponsor is a promoter who establishes the mutual fund and contributes to its initial capital. 25. What are the responsibilities of a custodian in mutual funds? A custodian holds and safeguards the mutual fund's securities and assets. 26. Describe the role of a registrar and transfer agent (RTA). An RTA handles investor records, processes transactions, and provides customer services for mutual funds. 27. What is the Association of Mutual Funds in India (AMFI)? AMFI is an industry body promoting ethical practices and standards among mutual fund companies in India. 28. Explain the AMFI Code of Ethics. The AMFI Code of Ethics sets guidelines for mutual fund operations, ensuring transparency and investor protection. 29. What are the regulations governing mutual funds in India? Mutual funds are governed by SEBI Mutual Funds Regulations, 1996, outlining their formation, management, and operations. 30. Describe the process of launching a new mutual fund scheme. The process includes drafting an offer document, obtaining SEBI approval, and conducting a new fund offer (NFO) to raise capital. Chapter 4. Legal and Regulatory Framework continued. 31. What is the SEBI Mutual Fund Regulations, 1996? These are regulatory guidelines that govern mutual fund operations in India, ensuring transparency and investor protection. 32. Explain the concept of Know Your Customer (KYC). KYC is a process that verifies an investor's identity and address before allowing investment in mutual funds. 33. What is the role of the Financial Intelligence Unit (FIU) in mutual funds? FIU monitors financial transactions to detect and prevent money laundering activities. 34. Define anti-money laundering (AML) guidelines. AML guidelines aim to prevent financial crimes by requiring mutual fund distributors to report suspicious transactions. 35. What are the investor protection measures in mutual funds? Investor protection includes SEBI regulations, grievance redressal mechanisms, and transparency in fund operations. 36. Describe the grievance redressal mechanism for mutual fund investors. Investors can approach the AMC, SEBI's SCORES platform, or the Ombudsman for complaint resolution. 37. What is the significance of the offer document in mutual funds? The offer document provides details about a mutual fund scheme, including investment objectives, risks, and costs. 38. Explain the concept of a Key Information Memorandum (KIM). KIM is a summary of the offer document, giving key details about a mutual fund scheme. 39. What are the advertisement guidelines for mutual funds? SEBI regulates mutual fund advertisements to ensure they are not misleading and provide factual information. 40. Describe the role of self-regulatory organizations in the mutual fund industry. Organizations like AMFI promote ethical conduct and best practices among mutual fund intermediaries. Chapter 5. Scheme-related information. 41. What is an equity mutual fund scheme? A mutual fund that primarily invests in stocks or shares of companies. 42. Describe a debt mutual fund scheme. A mutual fund that invests in fixed income securities like bonds and government securities. 43. What are hybrid mutual fund schemes? Funds that invest in a mix of equity and debt instruments to balance risk and return. 44. Explain the concept of sectoral funds. Mutual funds that focus on specific industry sectors, such as IT or pharmaceuticals. 45. What are index funds? Funds that replicate the composition and performance of a stock market index like Nifty 50. 46. Define gilt funds. Mutual funds that invest primarily in government securities with no credit risk. 47. What are liquid funds? Debt mutual funds that invest in short-term money market instruments, offering high liquidity. 48. Describe the concept of a balanced fund. A fund that provides a balance between growth equity and income debt investments. 49. What is a growth option in mutual funds? An option where returns are reinvested in the fund, increasing NAV over time. 50. Explain the dividend option in mutual funds. Investors receive periodic dividend payouts from fund profits instead of capital appreciation. Chapter 6: Fund Distribution and Channel Management Practices. 51. What is the role of a mutual fund distributor? A distributor sells mutual fund schemes and provides advisory services to investors. 52. Describe the distribution channels for mutual funds. Includes direct sales, banks, brokers, online platforms, and independent financial advisors. 53. What are the eligibility criteria for becoming a mutual fund distributor? Must clear the NISM VA certification and register with AMFI. 54. Explain the empanelment process for distributors. Distributors must register with AMCs, submit required documents, and comply with regulatory requirements. 55. What is the importance of investor awareness programs? These programs educate investors about mutual fund benefits, risks, and investment strategies. 56. Describe the commission structure for mutual fund distributors. Distributors earn commissions through upfront and trail commissions based on AUM, assets under management. 57. What are the compliance requirements for distributors? Includes adherence to AMFI Code of Conduct, KYC norms, and reporting obligations. 58. Explain the concept of due diligence in mutual fund distribution. Due diligence ensures distributors conduct ethical and regulatory compliant sales practices. 59. What is the role of technology in mutual fund distribution? Technology enables online investment platforms, robo-advisory services, and seamless transactions. 60. Describe the challenges faced by mutual fund distributors. Includes regulatory changes, competition, commission reduction, and investor reluctance. Preparation process before going to the examination hall. 1. Understand the exam format. The NISM VA exam consists of 100 multiple-choice questions. The total duration is 2 hours. The passing marks are 50%, 50 out of 100. There is no negative marking. 2. Study key topics from the official NISM workbook. Investment basics and mutual fund structures. Legal and regulatory frameworks. Different types of mutual funds. Taxation of mutual funds. Mutual fund distribution and advisory services. Investor protection and ethics. 3. Take mock tests and practice questions. Solve at least 500-600 practice questions. Take full-length mock exams to manage time effectively. 4. Revise important formulas and concepts. NAV calculation. NAV equals sign total assets liabilities, number of units outstanding. Expense ratio. Expense ratio equals sign total expenses / average assets under management times 100. Exit load calculation. Exit load equals sign redemption amount times exit load percentage. 5. Keep required documents ready. Print out your exam hall ticket, admit card. Carry a valid photo ID proof, Aadhaar, PAN, driving license, etc. 6. Arrive at the exam center early. Reach at least 30 minutes before the scheduled time. Read all instructions carefully before starting the exam. 7. Stay calm and focused during the exam. Answer easy questions first to gain confidence. Mark difficult questions for review and revisit them later. Chapter 7: Mutual Fund Taxation. 61. How are mutual fund investments taxed in India? Mutual fund taxation depends on the type of fund and the holding period. 62. What is short-term capital gains (SDCG) tax for equity mutual funds? 15% on gains if units are held for less than 12 months. 63. What is long-term capital gains (LTCG) tax for equity mutual funds? 10% on gains above 1 lakh if held for more than 12 months. 64. What is the SDCG tax rate for debt mutual funds? As per the investor's income tax slab if held for less than 36 months. 65. What is the LTCG tax rate for debt mutual funds? 20% with indexation benefits if held for more than 36 months. 66. How are dividends from mutual funds taxed? Dividends are taxed at the investor's applicable income tax rate. 67. What is the securities transaction tax (STT) on mutual funds? STT of 0.001% is applicable only on the sale of equity mutual fund units. 68 are systematic investment plans SIP taxable. Yes, each SIP installment is treated as a separate investment for taxation. 69. What is indexation in mutual fund taxation? Indexation adjusts the purchase price for inflation, reducing taxable capital gains on debt funds. 70. How can an investor save tax using mutual funds? By investing in equity-linked savings schemes, ELSS, which qualify for a tax deduction under Section 80C of the Income Tax Act up to Rupee 5 lakh per year. Chapter 8. Investor Services and Risk Management. 71. What are the different ways to invest in a mutual fund? Direct investment through distributors, online platforms, and stock exchanges. 72. What is a systematic transfer plan, SDP? SDP allows an investor to transfer a fixed amount from one scheme to another periodically. 73. What is a systematic withdrawal plan, SWP? SWP allows an investor to withdraw a fixed amount regularly from a mutual fund investment. 74. What is risk profiling? A process to assess an investor's risk appetite and recommend suitable investment products. 75. What is an investor awareness program, IAP? Programs conducted by AMFI and AMCs to educate investors about mutual funds. 76. What is the process for mutual fund redemptions? Investors submit a redemption request, and funds are credited within a specified time, T+1 or T+3 days. 77. What is an exit load? A fee charged if an investor exits a mutual fund before a specified period. 78. How does mutual fund risk classification work? Funds are classified as low, moderate, and high risk based on investment strategy and asset allocation. 79. What are the risks associated with mutual fund investments? Market risk, credit risk, interest rate risk, liquidity risk, and inflation risk. 80. What are side pocketing provisions in mutual funds? Side pocketing allows a fund to separate bad assets from healthy investments, protecting investors from credit defaults. Chapter 9. Code of Conduct and Ethics for Mutual Fund Distributors. 81. What is the AMFI Code of Conduct? A set of ethical guidelines for mutual fund distributors to ensure fair practices. 82. What is mis-selling in mutual funds? Selling mutual funds without proper disclosure or suggesting unsuitable products to investors. 83. What are the key responsibilities of a mutual fund distributor? Educating investors, assessing risk appetite, and ensuring ethical selling practices. 84. What does suitability of products mean in financial advisory? Recommending mutual fund products that match an investor's financial goals and risk tolerance. 85. What are the penalties for violating AMFI's Code of Conduct? Distributors can be blacklisted or penalized for unethical practices. 86. What is the investor grievance redressal mechanism? A system where investors can report grievances to AMCs, SEBI, or Ombudsman Services. 87. What is the full form of SEBI? Securities and Exchange Board of India. 88. What is the AMFI registration number, ARN? A unique number given to mutual fund distributors upon registration with AMFI. 89. What is front-running in mutual funds? An illegal practice where a distributor buys securities before recommending them to clients. 90. Why is transparency important in mutual fund distribution? It helps in building investor trust and ensures fair business practices. Chapter 10. Investor Types and Suitability. 91. Who are retail investors in mutual funds? Individual investors who invest their personal savings in mutual funds. 92. What is an HNI, high net worth individual investor? An investor with significant financial resources who typically invests large amounts. 93. Who are institutional investors? Large organizations like banks, insurance companies, and pension funds that invest in mutual funds. 94. What is the role of foreign portfolio investors, FPIs, in mutual funds? FPIs invest in Indian mutual funds, contributing to capital inflows. 95. What is a qualified institutional buyer, QIB? Large investors like mutual funds, pension funds, and banks who invest in large volumes. 96. How does an investor's risk profile affect mutual fund selection? Investors with a high-risk appetite may prefer equity funds, while low-risk investors may prefer debt funds. 97. What mutual fund type is best suited for a retiree? Debt funds or hybrid funds with regular income options, SWP. 98. Which fund category is suitable for tax-saving purposes? ELSS Equity-Linked Savings Scheme under Section 80C. 99. What is an ideal mutual fund for a beginner? Balanced funds or index funds, as they offer moderate risk and diversification. 100. Which mutual fund type is suitable for short-term goals? Liquid funds or ultra-short-term debt funds for liquidity and stability. Chapter 11. Mutual Fund Performance Evaluation. 101. What is the net asset value NAV? NAV represents the per unit value of a mutual fund. 102. How is NAV calculated? NAV equals total assets liabilities, number of units outstanding. 103. What is the difference between absolute return and annualized return? Absolute return is total gain loss over a period, while annualized return is the yearly equivalent. 104. What is the expense ratio? The percentage of fund assets used for administrative and management expenses. 105. What does a Sharpe ratio measure? It measures risk-adjusted returns of a mutual fund. 106. What does a higher Sharpe ratio indicate? A higher Sharpe ratio means better risk-adjusted performance. 107. What is alpha in mutual funds? Alpha measures a fund's excess return over its benchmark. 108. What is beta in mutual funds? Beta measures a fund's volatility relative to the market. 109. What is R-squared in mutual funds? It measures how closely a fund's performance tracks its benchmark index. 110. How do rolling returns help in evaluating a mutual fund? They show how a fund has performed over different periods consistently. Chapter 12. Systematic Investment Strategies. 111. What is SIP Systematic Investment Plan? A method of investing fixed amounts at regular intervals in a mutual fund. 112. How does SIP benefit investors? Rupee cost averaging and compounding benefits. 113. What is SDP Systematic Transfer Plan? Allows investors to transfer money periodically from one fund to another. 114. What is SWP Systematic Withdrawal Plan? Allows investors to withdraw a fixed amount at regular intervals. 115. What is the minimum tenure for an ELSS SIP? 3 years lock-in period per SIP installment. 116. Can SIP be started in any mutual fund? Yes, except for close-ended mutual funds. 117. Can an investor modify the SIP amount later? Yes, using SIP top-up or step-up options. 118. How does a weekly SIP differ from a monthly SIP? Weekly SIPs allow frequent investments, reducing volatility risk further. 119. Which type of SIP allows for variable investments? Flexi SIP, where investors can change installment amounts. 120. Can an investor pause a SIP? Yes, some mutual funds offer SIP pause features. Chapter 13. Compliance and Regulations. 121. What is the role of SEBI in mutual funds? SEBI regulates mutual funds and ensures transparency. 122. What is the role of AMFI? AMFI promotes ethical mutual fund distribution. 123. Is it mandatory for mutual fund distributors to pass the NISM VA exam? Yes, it is mandatory. 124. What is FATCA compliance in mutual funds? It ensures reporting of foreign financial assets for tax purposes. 125. What is the maximum TER total expense ratio allowed by SEBI? 2.25% for equity funds and 2.00% for debt funds. 126. What is the lock-in period for ELSS funds? 3 years. 127. who regulates KYC compliance for mutual fund investors. Central KYC Registry, CKYC and SEBI. 128. What happens if KYC is not completed before investing in mutual funds? The investment will be rejected. 129. What is the purpose of a PAN card in mutual fund investments? It is required for tax compliance and KYC verification. 130. What is a direct mutual fund plan? A plan without distributor commissions, offering lower expense ratios. Mock test style questions 130-150. 131. What does the acronym NAV stand for? Net asset value. 132. Which type of mutual fund provides the highest returns over the long term? Equity mutual funds. 133. Which organization regulates mutual funds in India? SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India. 134. What is the lock-in period for tax-saving mutual funds ELSS? 3 years. 135. Which document provides detailed information about a mutual fund scheme? Scheme Information Document, SID. 136. What is the full form of AMFI? Association of Mutual Funds in India. 137. What is the primary objective of debt mutual funds? Capital preservation and regular income. 138. Which risk is specific to equity mutual funds? Market risk. 139. Which type of fund invests in both equity and debt? Hybrid funds. 140. Which type of mutual fund invests in government bonds only? Gilt funds. 141. What is the term for an investor's ability to tolerate financial losses? Risk tolerance. 142. What is the primary risk in liquid mutual funds? Interest rate risk. 143. Which ratio measures a fund's ability to generate excess returns over risk-free returns? Sharpe ratio. 144. Which category of mutual funds charges exit loads? Open-ended funds. 145. How are mutual funds taxed in the hands of investors? As per capital gains tax rules. 146. Who is responsible for declaring NAVs of mutual funds? AMC Asset Management Company. 147. What is the minimum investment period for SIP in ELSS funds? 3 years per installment. 148. Which mutual fund type is least volatile? Liquid funds. 149. What is the primary benefit of index funds? Low cost and passive investment. 150. What is the maximum commission allowed for mutual fund distributors? As per SEBI guidelines, AMCs decide based on expense ratio. Chapter 14, Mutual Fund Structure and Functioning. 151. What is an asset management company, AMC? An AMC manages mutual fund schemes and makes investment decisions on behalf of investors. 152. Who appoints the trustees of a mutual fund? The sponsor of the mutual fund. 153. What is the main responsibility of mutual fund trustees? To ensure that the AMC operates in the best interests of investors. 154. What is a sponsor in a mutual fund? The entity that establishes the mutual fund and registers it with SEBI. 155. What is the function of a registrar and transfer agent, RTA? RTAs maintain investor records, process transactions, and manage redemptions. 156. Which entity is responsible for protecting mutual fund investors' interests? SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India. 157. What is a fund manager's role in mutual funds? The fund manager decides where to invest and manages the fund's portfolio. 158. What is a mutual fund custodian responsible for? Holding the securities and assets of the mutual fund. 159. Can an investor switch between different mutual fund schemes? Yes, through a switch option, but taxation applies. 160. How do fund of funds (FOFS) operate? FOFs invest in other mutual fund schemes rather than directly in stocks or bonds. Chapter 15, Mutual Fund Operations and Processes. 161. What are the two methods to invest in mutual funds? Lump Sum Investment and Systematic Investment Plan, SIP. 162. What is a folio number in mutual funds? A unique number assigned to each investor for tracking their mutual fund investments. 163. How can an investor redeem mutual fund units? By submitting a redemption request online or through the AMC. 164. What is T+2 in mutual fund redemption? The redemption amount is credited to the investor's account within T+2 business days. 165. How are mutual fund units allocated in an NFO? Units are allocated at a face value of Rupee 10 during the new fund offer NFO period. 166. What is the cutoff time for mutual fund transactions? 3 p.m. for equity and debt funds, 1:30 p.m. for liquid funds. 167. What happens if an investor submits a mutual fund purchase request after the cutoff time? The transaction is processed at the next working day's NAV. 168. Can an investor hold mutual fund units in Demat form? Yes, mutual funds can be held in Demat form through NSDL/CDSL. 169. What is an e-mandate in mutual fund SIPs? An electronic authorization for automatic SIP payments. 170. Can a minor invest in mutual funds? Yes, with a guardian managing the account until the minor turns 18. Chapter 16, Special Mutual Fund Products and Features. 171. What is an ETF, exchange-traded fund? A mutual fund traded on the stock exchange like a stock. 172. What is the difference between an ETF and an index fund? ETFs trade on stock exchanges, while index funds are bought-sold directly from AMCs. 173. Which funds are best for short-term parking of money? Liquid funds or overnight funds? 174. What is a dividend reinvestment plan? Instead of receiving cash dividends, the investor receives additional mutual fund units. 175. What is an arbitrage fund? A mutual fund that profits from price differences in equity markets. 176. What is a gilt fund? A debt fund that invests only in government securities. 177. What is a sectoral fund? A mutual fund that invests only in a specific sector, such as banking or IT. 178. What is the purpose of a capital protection fund? To safeguard the principal investment while aiming for some returns. 179. Which mutual fund provides the lowest risk? Overnight funds have the lowest risk. 180. What is the primary difference between a thematic fund and a sectoral fund? Thematic funds invest in multiple sectors following a theme, whereas sectoral funds invest in one sector. Mock test style questions 181-200. 181. Which type of fund is ideal for an investor looking for monthly income? Hybrid funds with SWP, systematic withdrawal plan. 182. What is the lock-in period for a close-ended mutual fund? Depends on the scheme, usually 3-5 years. 183. What is the primary risk in debt mutual funds? Interest rate risk and credit risk. 184. How frequently do mutual funds disclose their portfolio holdings? Once a month. 185. Which index is used as a benchmark for large-cap mutual funds? Nifty 50 or Sensex? 186. Which mutual fund is best suited for conservative investors? Debt mutual funds or hybrid funds with low equity exposure? 187. What is the exit load for equity mutual funds? Varies by scheme, generally 1% if redeemed within 1 year. 188. What is an international mutual fund? A fund that invests in global markets. 189. Which type of mutual fund automatically adjusts its portfolio based on market conditions? Dynamic Asset Allocation Fund, Balanced Advantage Fund. 190. How are foreign mutual fund investments taxed in India? They are taxed as debt funds even if they invest in equities. 191. What is the key advantage of investing in index funds? Low cost and passive investing. 192. Which mutual fund category is the safest? Overnight funds and liquid funds. 193. What is the maximum equity exposure allowed in balanced hybrid funds? Between 40% 60%. 194. Who determines the risk level of a mutual fund? SCBI's Riskometer framework. 195. What is a load fund? A fund that charges an entry or exit fee. 196. Which fund type is best suited for long-term wealth creation? Equity mutual funds. 197. What is the advantage of a flexi-cap fund over a large-cap fund? Flexi-cap funds can invest across all market capitalizations. 198. What happens if an investor fails to renew their KYC? They will not be able to invest further until KYC is updated. 199. Which mutual fund category is recommended for children's education planning? Balanced hybrid funds or SIPs in equity mutual funds. 200. Which mutual fund category is most suitable for senior citizens? Debt mutual funds or hybrid conservative funds? Final thoughts and exam strategy. Focus on key topics like NAV calculation, mutual fund taxation, and investor suitability. Attempt at least 10-15 full-length mock tests before the exam. Revise AMFI Code of Conduct and SCBI Mutual Fund Regulations. Carry your admit card and a valid ID proof to the exam hall. Certainly, here are 50 challenging objective-type questions for the NISM Series VA, Mutual Fund Distributors Certification Examination. Along with their answers, these questions are designed to test your in-depth understanding of mutual fund concepts and regulations. 1. Which of the following is not a characteristic of an exchange-traded fund, ETF? A. Trades on stock exchanges. B. Typically tracks an index. C. Priced once at the end of the trading day. D. Can be bought and sold like a stock. Answer: C. Priced once at the end of the trading day. 2. In a systematic withdrawal plan, SWP, the primary objective is to A. Invest a fixed amount periodically. B. Withdraw a fixed amount periodically. C. Switch between schemes systematically. D. Transfer funds between asset classes. Answer: B. Withdraw a fixed amount periodically. 3. Which type of mutual fund scheme is most suitable for an investor seeking capital protection with moderate returns? A. Equity-linked savings scheme, ELSS. B. Sectoral fund. C. Capital protection-oriented fund. D. Gilt fund. Answer: C. Capital protection-oriented fund. 4. The expense ratio of a mutual fund scheme represents A. The fund's total expenses as a percentage of its average assets under management. B. The entry load charged to investors. C. The exit load charged to investors. D. The fund manager's commission. Answer: A. The fund's total expenses as a percentage of its average assets under management. 5. Which of the following is true about a fund of funds, FOF? A. It invests directly in stocks and bonds. B. It invests in other mutual fund schemes. C. It has lower expense ratios compared to regular mutual funds. D. It is exempt from taxation. Answer: B. It invests in other mutual fund schemes. 6. What is the primary difference between a growth option and a dividend payout option in mutual funds? A. Growth option reinvests earnings. Dividend payout distributes earnings to investors. B. Growth option distributes earnings. Dividend payout reinvests earnings. C. Both options distribute earnings periodically. D. Both options reinvest earnings. Answer: A growth option reinvests earnings. Dividend payout distributes earnings to investors. 7. In the context of mutual funds, what does AUM stand for? A. Annual utility margin. B. Assets under management. C. Average unit multiplier. D. Asset utilization metric. Answer: B. Assets under management. 8. Which regulatory body oversees mutual funds in India? A. Reserve Bank of India, RBI. B. Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI. C. Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority, IRDA. D. Ministry of Finance. Answer: B. Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI. 9. A mutual fund scheme that invests primarily in fixed income securities is known as A. Equity fund. B. Debt fund. C. Balanced fund. D. Index fund. Answer B. Debt fund. 10. Which of the following is a characteristic of an open-ended mutual fund scheme? A. Fixed maturity period. B. Listed on stock exchanges. C. Continuous sale and repurchase of units. D. Limited subscription period. Answer C. Continuous sale and repurchase of units. 11. What is the lock-in period for investments in an equity-linked savings scheme, ELSS? A. 1 year. B. 3 years. C. 5 years. D. 7 years. Answer B. 3 years. 12. The net asset value NAV of a mutual fund is calculated as a total assets minus total liabilities divided by the number of outstanding units. B. Total assets plus total liabilities divided by the number of outstanding units. C. Total assets divided by the number of outstanding units. D. Total liabilities divided by the number of outstanding units. Answer: a total assets minus total liabilities divided by the number of outstanding units. 13. Which type of mutual fund charges a performance fee based on returns exceeding a specified benchmark? A. Index fund. B. Gilt fund. C. Hedge fund. D. Sectoral fund. Answer C. Hedge fund. 14. In mutual fund terminology, load refers to A. The annual maintenance fee. B. The commission charged to investors when buying or selling units. C. The fund's operating expenses. D. The fund's performance relative to its benchmark. Answer B. The commission charged to investors when buying or selling units. 15. Which document provides detailed information about a mutual fund scheme, including its investment objective, strategy, and risks? A. Fact sheet. B. Key information memorandum, KIM. C. Scheme information document, SID. D. Annual report. Answer C. Scheme information document, SID. 16. A mutual fund scheme that invests in companies across various sectors and market capitalizations is known as a sectoral fund. B. Thematic fund. C. Diversified equity fund. D. Gilt fund. Answer C. Diversified equity fund. 17. Which of the following is true about a systematic investment plan, SIP? A. It involves investing a lump sum amount at once. B. It allows investors to invest fixed amounts at regular intervals. C. It guarantees fixed returns. D. It is only available for debt funds. Answer B. It allows investors to invest fixed amounts at regular intervals. 18. The primary objective of a money market mutual fund is to A. Achieve long-term capital appreciation. B. Provide regular income. C. Preserve capital and provide liquidity. D. Invest in international markets. Answer C. Preserve capital and provide liquidity. 19. Which type of mutual fund is most suitable for an investor seeking tax benefits under Section 80C of the Income Tax Act? A. Balanced fund. B. Gilt fund. C. Equity-linked savings scheme, ELSS. D. Money market fund. Answer C. Equity-linked savings scheme, ELSS. 20. In mutual funds, exit load refers to A. Fee charged when purchasing units. B. A fee charged when redeeming units. C. The annual management fee. D. The fund's administrative expenses. Answer B. A fee charged when redeeming units. 21. Which of the following is a key benefit of investing in mutual funds? A. Guaranteed returns. B. Diversification of investment. C. No market risk. D. Fixed interest income. Answer B. Diversification of investment. 22. Which of the following ratios helps investors measure the risk-adjusted return of a mutual fund? A. Expense ratio. B. Sharpe ratio. C. Portfolio turnover ratio. D. Price-to-earnings ratio. Answer B. Sharpe ratio. 23. Which category of mutual funds is best suited for an investor seeking capital appreciation with high risk? A. Debt funds. B. Hybrid funds. C. Liquid funds. D. Small-cap equity funds. Answer D. Small-cap equity funds. 24. What is the primary function of the Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, in relation to mutual funds? A. Manage investor portfolios. B. Regulate and protect investors' interests. C. Provide investment advice to AMCs. D. Guarantee returns on mutual funds. Answer B. Regulate and protect investors' interests. 25. Which type of mutual fund scheme does not allow redemption before maturity? A. Open-ended fund. B. Close-ended fund. C. Interval fund. D. Liquid fund. Answer B. Close-ended fund. 26. Which of the following is not a characteristic of a gilt fund? A. Invests in government securities. B. Zero credit risk. C. Fixed guaranteed returns. D. Subject to interest rate risk. Answer C. Fixed guaranteed returns. 27. What is the tax treatment of dividends received from mutual funds in India? A. Fully tax-free. B. Taxed as per investor's slab rate. C. Subject to 10% tax only. D. Tax-free if reinvested. Answer B. Taxed as per investor's slab rate. 28. Which of the following is a key advantage of passive mutual funds, index funds? A. Actively managed by fund managers. B. Typically have lower expense ratios. C. Offer guaranteed returns. D. Are unaffected by market volatility. Answer B. Typically have lower expense ratios. 29. Which mutual fund is most suitable for investors seeking periodic income? A. Growth option of an equity fund. B. Dividend option of a debt fund. C. Liquid fund. D. Index fund. Answer B. Dividend option of a debt fund. 30. Which factor does not affect the net asset value (NAV) of a mutual fund? A. Market price of securities in the portfolio. B. Entry and exit loads. C. Changes in interest rates. D. Fund management expenses. Answer B. Entry and exit loads. 31. A mutual fund scheme with an asset allocation strategy that dynamically shifts between equity and debt is known as A. Arbitrage fund. B. Sectoral fund. C. Balanced advantage fund. D. Index fund. Answer C. Balanced advantage fund. 32. What happens if an investor fails to update their KYC details for mutual fund investments? A. Investments continue without issue. B. Further transactions are restricted. C. NAV calculation is affected. D. Higher exit load is charged. Answer B. Further transactions are restricted. 33. Which type of fund is most likely to benefit when interest rates fall? A. Liquid funds. B. Short-term debt funds. C. Long-term gilt funds. D. Arbitrage funds. Answer C. Long-term gilt funds. 34. Which mutual fund category has the highest liquidity? A. Equity mutual funds. B. Debt mutual funds. C. Liquid funds. D. ILSS funds. Answer C. Liquid funds. 35. Which of the following statements is true regarding SEBI's riskometer for mutual funds? A. It measures the fund manager's performance. B. It provides a risk rating based on past performance. C. It categorizes funds based on their overall risk level. D. It ensures risk-free investments in mutual funds. Answer C. It categorizes funds based on their overall risk level. 36. What is the primary purpose of an exit load in mutual funds? A. To encourage long-term investing. B. To increase fund returns. C. To compensate investors for early exit. D. To reduce taxation on redemptions. Answer A. To encourage long-term investing. 37. Which of the following is not a valid investor objective for investing in mutual funds? A. Capital appreciation. B. Fixed guaranteed returns. C. Tax savings. D. Liquidity. Answer B. Fixed guaranteed returns. 38. What is a side-pocketing mechanism in mutual funds? A. Investing in foreign markets. B. Separating distressed assets from good assets. C. Increasing expense ratio. D. Merging two mutual fund schemes. Answer B. Separating distressed assets from good assets. 39. What is the minimum net worth requirement for an asset management company, AMC, in India? A. 5 crores. B. 10 crores. C. Rupee 50 crores. D. 100 crores. Answer B. 10 crores. 40. Which of the following is true about an interval fund? A. Investors can buy and sell units at any time. B. They are a mix of open-ended and close-ended funds. C. They invest only in short-term debt securities. D. They offer daily liquidity like liquid funds. Answer B. They are a mix of open-ended and close-ended funds. 41. Which type of mutual fund primarily benefits from arbitrage opportunities? A. Gilt funds. B. Arbitrage funds. C. Liquid funds. D. Sectoral funds. Answer B. Arbitrage funds. 42. Which of the following mutual funds is most suitable for investors with a short investment horizon? A. Equity funds. B. Balanced funds. C. Liquid funds. D. ILSS funds. Answer C. Liquid funds. 43. Which of the following mutual funds is best suited for an investor who wants tax efficiency and capital appreciation? A. Debt mutual fund. B. ILSS fund. C. Liquid fund. D. Money market fund. Answer B. ELSS fund. 44. Which of the following funds is known for having the lowest credit risk? A. Corporate bond fund. B. Gilt fund. C. Hybrid fund. D. Small cap fund. Answer B. Gilt fund. 45. In India, the maximum allowed total expense ratio (TER) for equity mutual funds is A. 1.50%, B. 2.00%, C. 2.25%, D. 2.50%. Answer D. 2.50%. 46. Which mutual fund type invests in securities outside India? A. Gilt fund. B. International fund. C. Sectoral fund. D. Arbitrage fund. Answer B. International fund. 47. What is the minimum investment requirement for a systematic investment plan (SIP) in India? A. Rupee 500. B. 1,000. C. Rupee 5,000. D. Rupee 10,000. Answer A. Rupee 500. 48. Which of the following funds is typically considered the safest investment option? A. Small cap equity fund. B. Gilt fund. C. Sectoral fund. D. International fund. Answer B. Gilt fund. 49. What is the primary function of a custodian in a mutual fund? A. Market the mutual fund scheme. B. Hold and safeguard the securities of the fund. C. Manage the investment portfolio. D. Process investor transactions. Answer B. Hold and safeguard the securities of the fund. 50. Which of the following mutual funds can help hedge against inflation? A. Gold ETFs. B. Debt funds. C. Gilt funds. D. Liquid funds. Answer A. Gold ETFs. Clearing the NISM Series VA Mutual Fund Distributors Cert. Examination in one attempt requires a smart strategy. Since you are planning to watch our video multiple times, here are some pro tips to maximize your chances of success. 1. Focus on high-weightage topics. NISM exams have a pattern, and some topics are tested more frequently. Your study plan should prioritize mutual fund basics, NAV AUM expense ratio, types of mutual funds, equity, debt, hybrid, liquid, ELSS, mutual fund structure and SEBI regulations, taxation of mutual funds, LTCG, SDCG, DDT, role of distributors and code of conduct, investor services and KYC process. Tip: focus more on regulations, taxation, and investor protection, as these have tricky questions. 2. Use our YouTube video effectively. First watch, get a broad idea of all topics. Second watch, take notes while watching. Write down important formulas, facts, and definitions. Third watch, revision. Pause and attempt to answer questions aloud before checking the answer in the video. Pro tip: try explaining the concepts as if you are teaching someone else. This boosts retention. 3. Practice 200 plus MCQs, especially difficult ones. Attempt at least 500-600 MCQs before the exam. Use mock tests to get used to exam-style questions. Focus on difficult and tricky questions like, which mutual fund does not charge an exit load? What happens if an investor redeems ELSS units before 3 years? Who is responsible for appointing the trustee of a mutual fund? Tip: revise all wrong answers from practice tests. 4. Use mnemonics and short notes for quick revision. Make one-page cheat sheets for formulae, NAV, expense ratio, etc. Taxation rules. Types of mutual funds and their key features. Example mnemonic for mutual fund types: ELDHIB. Equity, liquid, debt, hybrid, index, balanced advantage. Keep these notes near your study area and revise daily. 5. Solve previous year's questions, already included in this video. Give full attention to this video while watching. 6. Time management during the exam. Total time 120 minutes. Target: finish in 90 minutes and use 30 minutes for revision. First, answer easy questions within 30-40 minutes. Then tackle moderate and difficult ones. Mark for review the tricky ones and come back later. Tip: never leave a question unanswered since there is no negative marking. 7. One day before the exam strategy. Revise only from your cheat sheets and notes. Take one full-length mock test. Watch our YouTube video for a final refresh. Sleep at least 7-8 hours for better focus. 8. During the exam, stay calm and confident. Read each question carefully, some have tricky wording. If confused between two options, eliminate the wrong ones. Manage time wisely, don't get stuck on a single question. Stay confident, most students pass with 60 to 70% effort. Final pro tip, trust your preparation. If you follow these steps, watching our video strategically, and attempt enough MCQs, you will definitely pass in one attempt. Thanks and best of luck for your examination.